Hi, everybody. Welcome back to SecurityGuideTV.com at ISC West 2022 at the RadSecurity.com booth. My next guest, Rick Bentley, is the CEO of Cloudastructure.com. Mr. Rick, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
What do you guys do?
We do video surveillance in the cloud. Once it's in the cloud, we run it through all the processing to do all the object detection, face recognition, all the computer vision stuff.
Now, that is, it's not new, but it's newer.
Absolutely,
right? Yeah. Let's talk about some challenges to that. I'm an old school guy. I had the first digital decks at the studios back in the day. It cost $25,000 for 4 cameras, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? I still had to search it manually.
Yeah.
There wasn't all this analysis stuff going on. Are people reluctant to put that stuff in the cloud? We have 2 schools in this. We have, I'll give it to you, I'll put things in the cloud, but I want to make sure it's secure, first of all, right?
Yep.
And then are running the analytics a better place to do it in the cloud with your software?
Yeah, so it's funny. I think the camera manufacturers are very fond of doing the processing on premises still.
That's right, they are, yeah.
In the camera, and by the way, they have a teeny little chip.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, this is going to do everything. It's going to do object detection and face recognition.
No, it doesn't.
Right. And we push it to the cloud.
Right.
And we're doing it on big GPUs and these massive computational clusters at Google, right? And, hey, we're because of math, we'll do a better job.
Yeah.
Right? We just have more die area to do it.
So give me the differentiators between Cloudastructure and other cloud providers, because there are a lot of players in that space, but what sets you guys apart?
Yeah, so we've been doing since 2003, first of all.
You should be in the Smithsonian.
Right, exactly. We should be in a museum somewhere,
That's
right?
a legacy, yeah.
So we've been around for a while.
Was that really the cutting edge, beginning of it almost?
Yeah, so back then, I have to say, it almost didn't work. You had a lot of asymmetric broadband, cable, DSL, that sort of thing, right? So it was a little bit tough to get that sort of data into the cloud. But the way Moore's Law works is CPUs get twice as fast every 18 months.
Yep.
And so broadband is somewhere close to that, but camera pixels are nowhere close to that, right?
Oh.
Every 18 months, pixel density doesn't double.
Right.
Or square root of 2 or whatever, right? So the job's gotten easier every year.
All right. Yeah. That's good news. How does the machine learning work with your vision for this? And I think my small Security Guide TV brain has got this right. AI is the end product of machine learning.
Yes.
Without machine learning, you got no AI, right? Now, some people say I'm artificially intelligent. That's kind of a different version of it. It's not really the same thing. So tell us how that works.
Yeah, well, the way I put it is your thermostat is AI, right? It says it's not warm enough in here. I'm going to turn on the heat.
Right,
and it says it's warm enough. I'm going to turn off the heat. It's very basic AI.
Okay, I never thought about that.
Right, but there's no machine learning in that, right? Now, if your thermostat
that's just straight programming.
Right.
Okay.
But if your thermostat said every morning Chuck gets up and turns me up higher, so the next morning before he pushes the button, I'm going to turn up for him.
Well, I happen to have a thermostat that does that.
Right, see, there you go.
And I'm
That's
not
machine
particularly fond of it, I got to say, but I know what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What are customers at the show asking you? Because every year there's a different theme for a show, but then there's the consumer need, which don't always match.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting. You can do a lot with computer vision. You really can. I like to tell people, hey, if you have 100 cameras and someone asks you, hey, what happened last 24 hours? Okay, well, that's 3 8-hour days to go through 24 hours of footage on one camera.
Right.
Times 100 cameras, just 300 person days. So it's a calendar year. And maybe you can do it all on 10x. I'll give you that.
Right.
So it's still a person month, right? Or the computer can tell you, but sometimes it's a nimble idiot and it doesn't get it quite right.
That's right, right.
So you need that human level of intervention, both for the supervised learning to make it a better, make it, hey, that's not a mailbox, that's a car.
Right.
But more importantly, the remote guarding solution is something we just added today. To support a remote command center, we filter out all the noise ahead of time.
There's a lot of noise, yeah.
And so we like a 10-to-1 savings on the number of guards you need to watch the same number of cameras with the computer vision.
Well, this is so important because I just heard this week that when COVID hit, there was about a 20 to 30% walk-off of guard forces. Yep. Guards said, you know what, I don't want to catch COVID. I don't want to get hit with a brick.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a barista. It pays the same amount of money. And when I was in the guard business, I did the Academy Awards for 5 years. We were already 3 or 4% short in a good day.
Right.
And now you can't run a guard force, any business, with 20% less personnel.
Yeah.
So this is a force multiplier.
Yeah. It is. It's an absolute force multiplier. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Now, explain to me, sell me on why it's better to be in the cloud than on-prem. That's the big argument.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you have Gmail, right? Or you have,
I do.
You have email?
I get
right?
Gmail, yeah.
Do you run your own email server?
No.
Yeah. Do you store your files somewhere in the cloud?
Unfortunately, I do, yes.
Yeah. Do you have a file server at home still?
I actually do.
You do? Okay.
I have a big ass G drive, something or other that acts like one.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's not a full blown server, but I can remotely access it. But I'm about redundancy.
Absolutely.
And the cloud's redundancy.
Yeah. I love N+1.
Yeah.
Right. I love the combo. And our CVR leaves the files on site.
Oh,
until
okay.
it knows they've been uploaded to the cloud.
Right.
Right. It's got the acknowledgement that's been stored to the storage array. And then it comes back and tells the CVR, when you're full, you can now delete that one.
Oh, I never delete.
Right?
I have files from 1983 with my first televideo computer. I still
That doesn't work with video, though.
No, that's true. Well, let me ask you about that, because when this first started 3 or 4 years ago, I said, what's a petabyte? I had an iOmega. Remember iOmega drives?
Yeah.
1 gigabyte. That was like going to the moon.
Yeah.
When it got to 1
a black hole.
1 gigabyte, right?
Yeah.
Storage is an issue.
Yeah.
I don't care how many servers you build. So another great argument for the cloud is storage.
Yep.
Because I can't save all that. Even though they compress it, I still can't save all that stuff, right?
For sure.
So what you're recommending is a great solution. We're keeping it. How are you going to keep it on-prem for legal reasons, just in case?
So we do some cannabis stuff, for example. And then in certain jurisdictions, they have a requirement to keep it on site for a certain amount of time. Right. And then we ship what we call a CVR, a cloud video recorder, replaces the NVR. We ship it with more drives in it, and it keeps it there longer to meet that requirement.
And you can archive stuff. If somebody needs, like a legal department might need it saved on a shelf in a disk forever, you can do that too.
Right, yeah. We can always download it and archive it any way you want. Absolutely.
That's fantastic. Okay, I think I'm sold.
Yeah, great.
I'm still hesitant. I'm still cautious about the cloud.
Yeah.
Right? But it's inevitable.
Well, it's interesting. You can do so much more in the cloud than you can do on-prem. We mentioned the different size of the die between what's in the camera and what's in our GPU cluster, right? And then the training the models and everything else. I was at Google in 2015, and the open source TensorFlow, which is our machine learning platform. Mm-hmm. And this is 7 years ago now. This is, for you and me, we're older guys. This is like a snap of time 7 years ago, right?
I'll give you one that's even older. The cloud is HSM, Hierarchy Storage Management, which was what? The original giant computer in one room, and all the terminals at the desk didn't do anything. Yeah. Totally dumb.
Oh, yeah.
We've gone back to everything old is new again.
Yeah.
And that worked, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
The only difference is that wasn't connected to the internet of the day. The terminal at the studio in 1980 wasn't in the cloud. It wasn't connected. Vulnerability issue. But it was more secure back then, wasn't it?
Yeah. My dad was director at Boeing in their computer services division, and they used to timeshare out giant mainframes. Yeah. Right?
Timeshare. How interesting.
Yeah. And that was cloud. And then it was ASP, and then it was SaaS, and then it was cloud, right? Yeah. They just keep renaming it.
That's right. Yeah. That's where you go. Rick Bentley, CEO, Cloudastructure.com. Good to see you, my friend. We're here at ISC West, closing out the week. It's Friday. Back in right here on Security Guy TV. Beautiful. Good interview. Lots of energy.
Thank you.